कुमार स्वामी नायक गोंगो लिबू लटोका रेडियो फीजी 2 में पुराना गाना लगे हमें बहुत अच्छा लगे।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की।
In the news tonight, no human rights breaches in Alwalis deportation. Authorities test street food. And Kava production declines.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Good evening, Fiji. The deportation of the University of the South Pacific former Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Alwalis and his partner Sandra Price were conducted within the law. This was established by Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission in relation to allegations of human rights violations in the detention and deportation of Professor Alwalis and Price. Commission Director Ashwin Raj says processes and procedures followed were at all material times in accordance with prescribed law. Raj says the Department of Immigration furnished documentary evidence refuting allegations of human rights violations by Professor Alwalis and Price. The Immigration Department has refuted allegations that Professor Alwalis and Price were at any time roughed up or manhandled. FBC News has also sent questions to Professor Alwalis. Laboratory testing is underway to confirm if some street food in Suva is making customers ill. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says there are reports that some street foods are associated with people falling sick. Dipesh Kumar reports.
Authorities are now carrying out necessary checks to establish if street food is causing people to fall ill.
There is another team of health inspectors that I have spoken to about. I spoke to about 7 days ago. And they gave me some reports, and they telling me that there is some indication that there are some of our vendors that are causing, or the food coming out from them seems to be associated with people getting sick.
Dr. Fong says no drastic action will be taken until the ministry knows for sure what's going on. He adds many Fijians sell street food to provide for their families, but they must do so safely. The Consumer Council has also received similar complaints.
We wash our grills, we polish them properly, and the veggies, we wash them. And also the preparation of our mayonnaise and our sauces, we are very particular with what we pick.
Mostly the nature is the food is left uncovered, they're not following the hygiene practices and all whilst they are selling the food items.
Well, for that, it depends on the store owners, on where did they bought their meat from. Like for us, we bought our meat, we marinate it.
The Suva City Council has received more applications from people wanting to run food stalls. However, they have to meet the high safety standards. They must seek approval from the FRA, the National Fire Authority, and OHS clearance and a health license. Dipesh Kumar, FBC News.
Fiji's Kava industry has experienced a major decline in production and export for the past few months, affecting local farmers. Kava Corp founder John Sande says this is a direct consequence of COVID-19 pandemic. Josiah Nanunga reports innovative business strategies have been implemented to revive the industry.
Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, producing high-quality Kava products for export is returning to normal.
Even though the freight rates had increased quite markedly, the main thing we still had, we were able to then ship product to markets, and that's been huge. And I think that's one area that Fiji should count itself blessed, because yes, we still have the aircraft that's flying.
The company also plans to engage more Kava farmers from across the country.
We want to do a farmer aggregation strategy where all the farmers come through one channel so that we can produce a high quality Kava that is hygienic, it's Fijian grown certified, and we can then process it to a quality that can be exported to new markets.
Acting Director of the University of the South Pacific's Environment Unit, Dr. Isoakur Wulwula says tropical cyclones have also affected the industry.
This is something that such research can actually look into a better way of farming and actually earning much more than what we are earning right now.
Farmers are encouraged to build capacity in quality standards to improve the way Kava is produced, harvested and prepared for consumption and export. Jose Nanunga, FBC News.
A new policy that's being drafted will enable the government to introduce new laws to govern the housing sector. Minister Pramila Kumar says they expect to take the draft for public consultation between April and May. Kritika Kumar reports the policy, once adopted, will require the introduction of new laws.
Work on the housing policy is ongoing as the ministry tries to implement more guidelines for the sector.
We don't have an act in place which really guides the housing sector. We have Housing Act, but that only guides the operation of Housing Authority of Fiji, but not such practices that we see in the marketplace.
Strict policies will also enable the ministry to eliminate incidents of Fijians taking advantage of informal settlements. Right now, the ministry is having to monitor these settlements as people are making money and accumulating property.
In fact, some of them have come from the village where they own a house, but they have moved into the informal settlement. Similarly, people coming from the Western and Northern Division, they have a house which they have rented it out, but they're living in the informal settlement.
The policy will also require the housing ministry to provide more lots and cheap housing to reduce illegal and informal housing. This is an area that the Housing Authority is already pursuing, but not without constraints.
It depends on the weather conditions. I think it will only just prolong the duration of the projects.
The authority is on the verge of completing the subdivision in the Waindamundamu settlement. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The government has invested $90 million in micro, small and medium enterprises over the past few years. Minister for Commerce and Trade, Fayaz Koya, says the investment is through various targeted programs. Speaking at the University of the South Pacific's Entrepreneurial Fair, Koya highlighted that the pandemic has taught Fiji that we cannot rely on the tourism sector alone. He says it is important to diversify our economic base and adapt to the new normal. The ministry helped more than 2,000 businesses to understand their costs, pricing, business planning, forecasts, and post-disaster recovery. Up ahead, seedlings go to waste, and free soul judgment deferred.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
The Fiji Pine Trust has found at least 60% of seedlings distributed to corporate bodies in recent years have gone to waste. General Manager Lasarusa Turanga says the seedlings are given to businesses to fulfill their social corporate responsibilities and contributes to the government's 30 million trees in 15 years initiative. Josai Nanuga reports the organizations need to continue nurturing the seedlings over time.
The Fiji Pine Trust says businesses that undertake tree planting initiatives can walk after putting seedlings in the ground.
In line to government's initiative, the Ministry of Forest's initiative for 2 million trees planted per year, I think this is vital because when you take it into account, we are not wasting anything in terms of resources and what else that's linked to this logistics of planting from a corporate perspective.
Turanga says that any business which asks for seedlings will now have to meet strict conditions.
We are now taking partnership approaches to corporate bodies, and this is a way forward. And this is the beginning, but we hope other companies, other corporate bodies will come on board, and it will really help the nation in terms of pine planting out there in Fiji.
The trust today handed over 300 pine seedlings to Ropes Investment to be planted at the company site in Nabua.
We ourselves are not logging at the moment. We used to log. So we want to kind of give back to the environment, to the whole conservation thing that Fiji Pine Trust is doing. And our whole aim is to plant around 10,000 pine seedlings this year, as much as we can.
He says the initiative is critical in addressing climate change and other environmental challenges. Jose Nunga, FBC News.
The Department of Environment is reviewing tests of the wastewater samples collected from Foods Pacific Limited. Permanent Secretary for the Environment Ministry, Joshua Wycliffe, says they're expecting results to be available on Monday. Wycliffe says the company had been allowed to resume operations pending the results of this test. The processed food manufacturer was ordered to shut down production on January 19th after waste was found being discharged into the environment.
Once the test results have been reviewed, which I'm hoping will happen between today and Monday, then if the tests are all fine, there are no major issues or concerns, then yes, it would be lifted indefinitely.
The judgment in the case against Free Soul Real Estate Development Limited has been pushed to the end of the month. The judgment yesterday was moved as the presiding magistrate has been busy with work in the Western Division and will be in Lautoka for work next week before returning to Suva. Free Soul Real Estate Development is charged with 2 counts of undertaking unauthorized developments and 1 count of failure to comply with a prohibition notice. It's alleged the developer carried out work on the dry land at Wadhia on Malolo Island without an approved Environment Impact Assessment report between 2017 and 2018. The matter has been adjourned to the 30th of this month. Police have confirmed that it's investigating 2 cases involving Gounder Shipping Limited. Police spokesperson Ana Naisoro says the cases are currently with their Criminal Investigations Department. Naisoro says 1 complaint was lodged against the shipping giant for alleged human trafficking, while another report was lodged by Gounder Shipping Limited against men for alleged theft. When contacted by FBC News, Gounder Shipping says it is aware of the reports lodged. However, they will refrain from making any comments. We've also sent questions to the Maritime Safety Authority of Fiji. Fijians now have more options to send and receive money locally and internationally with the launch of Post Fiji's Post Money Order Services. Minister for Women, Mereseni Buniwanga, says the new service will help social welfare recipients in rural and maritime areas access their money. Buniwanga adds the service makes life easier for those in the most remote parts of the country. Post Money Order will be available at all 58 post offices.
While digitization is a global phenomenon and almost every kind of money transfer can be done electronically, it is indeed great to see that Post Fiji respected the demography of our island home and have continued to support the use of semi-automated mode of sending and receiving money.
Our services are used by the people, average people to the business community. So we have a diverse range of the customers who use the services.
Up ahead in sports, Fiji Pearls hold first training session with coach. And Labasa College wins Madhuwata Zone. This and more coming up after the break.
Bola, ang gonoa, ilutoka, butalita ka ng Bola FM, berarti nambang 2 NSR.
Bola FM, nambang 2 NSR.
The Fiji Pearls need to sharpen some basic skills like passing. The national side this morning had its first training session with head coach Jenny Brazel, who noted down areas she needs to work on with the Pearls. Vinina Rakautonga reports Brazel plans to work from the bottom up.
Out to the side. Yes.
Getting down to business, Brazel says there's a lot of potential in this young team.
They worked really, really hard. Lots of chat, lots of communication, so I got to see their ball skills and some of their other skills this morning with the drills and that we were doing.
Having seen these players in action, the new coach is optimistic about what the Pearls can achieve under her guidance.
Some great athletes here, so very strong, agile, definitely a great core of athletes to work towards being a really strong Fijian Pearl team.
Netball Fiji President Rugby and NRL says they will make sure Brazil gets all the help she needs.
So I think the opportunities are there. It's now just fine-tuning those opportunities to ensure Jen gets what she wants out of the programs and out of the girls.
With her experience in all areas of high performance, Brazil will be an asset to the Fiji Pearl squad. Venina Rakotonga, FBC Sports.
Lambasa College won the Madhuwata Zone 2 athletics competition after an 8-year drought. They hauled an overall medal tally of 45 gold, 31 silver and 22 bronze and dedicated the win to students who were affected by the recent flooding in Lambasa. Eleanor Tarangavu has more.
Their excitement spoke volumes that this victory has been a long time coming.
We are very happy. Excited, especially when it's after lapse of 8 years that Lambasa College has won the zone.
Lambasa College also dominated the boys and girls competition, setting another new record.
They have broken the previous tally for the highest gold by any school.
The girls scooped 23 gold, 15 silver and 10 bronze, and the boys 21 gold, 17 silver and 12 bronze medals.
This win we would like to dedicate to all the students, the parents, especially those who suffered from the flood that occurred recently.
Driketi Central College came in second with 26 gold, 13 silver and 10 bronze medals. Lambasa Muslim College came in third with 9 gold, 14 silver and 25 bronze medals.
In our zone we have about 9 schools, but due to the challenges that Banua Levu faced, we have two major challenges. We had two major challenges faced. One was the TC Yasa and the other one was the TC Ana.
Around 300 athletes from 7 schools took part in the 2-day competition. Eleanor Tarangavu, FBC Sports.
Levu boxer Ratu Rakuro Dauni Babana wants to end his current losing streak when he takes on Sebastian Singh in the South Pacific Boxing Promotions in Nandi next weekend. Once again, Ratu Rakuro is fighting Singh, who won the last time they met back in 2019. However, this time around, the 24-year-old says he won't make the same mistake twice. Felipe Naikaso has more.
Focused on the tough, long road ahead, the Northern Prince wants to make a statement next weekend that he isn't just in the program to make up the numbers.
We've been working a lot with my power since the last time I fought Sebastian Singh. One thing I lacked the most was power in my punches, but right now I'm confident that I got the power.
With just a few days of preparation remaining, Ratu Rakuro has been making sure he is in a tip-top shape before his showdown.
My plan is still the same. I'll walk in the ring and just work on the 6th round, to finish the 6th round. But if he make mistakes, then there'll be knockouts on the way.
Another boxer that will be wanting to stamp his mark is Nepotian Dawandawa when he takes on Philemoni Naliva Jr. in a 6x3 contest. Dawandawa made his debut in December last year and wants another win under his belt.
I know he's from a well-known boxing family and he's a much experienced fighter than me, and I'm expecting a very good fight.
The program starts at 2 p.m. next Saturday at Prince House Park. Felipe Naikaso, FBC Sports.
There's still a lot of room for improvement for the under-17 Nasinu Panthers side as they prepare for the semi-final of the Southeastern Zone Fiji Secondary Schools Rugby League next week. The Blues came out victors in the quarterfinals today against Sukuna Broncos, 10-6 in the quarterfinals at St. Marcelin Primary School grounds today. Discipline continues to be an issue for the side, and they will need to iron this out before their next match against Morris Brothers High School.
We came victory, but I think we have some mistakes. We'll go back next week and we'll have to work on it.
The Lambasa football team secured their first win in the Digicel Women's Super League. After the loss to Lambasa in round 1, the team is back to its winning ways after defeating Suva 2-0 in round 2 at the ANZ Stadium today. Coach Arthur Simmons says the loss to Ba was a wake-up call and they had to make some major changes in order to defeat the Suva team.
We started to drop the players who weren't coming for training, and you can see that we got a new bunch of girls. A lot of the first timers they played today, and they stood up to the test.
We want to play as a team. We have to discipline in training, and we have to attend all training all days and play as a team.
It was Fijian sensation Marika Koroimbete that saved the Melbourne Rebels, securing their first win in the Super Rugby AU season. The Rebels shot out to a 10-0 lead in the 62nd minute when a steaming run by Koroimbete set up the try for the scrum half Joe Powell. The game took a turn in the 69th minute when the Forces scored a try. The Rebels were forced to defend grimly for the rest of the match. Fiji Mbati forward Daniel Saifiti celebrated his 100th NRL game with 2 tries as Knights beat the Bulldogs 30-16. The Knights launched their 2021 campaign in style as runaway train Saifiti made 174 meters from 19 runs and crossed the stripe once in each half as Newcastle turned an 8-point half-time lead into a comprehensive win. Some showers were experienced over the Banolevu and Yasawa group. Afternoon light showers were experienced over eastern parts of Vitilevu. Really fine weather prevailed elsewhere. In the west, fine apart from possible afternoon or evening showers and possible thunderstorms. From Pacific Harbour to Suva, cloudy periods with some showers and possible thunderstorms. And in the north, more cloudy conditions and possible thunderstorms. At sea, east to southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas, moderate southerly swells. Turning to the tides, the next low tide is at 1:11 a.m. tomorrow, with high tide at 7:24 a.m. Sunrise is at 6:08. For tomorrow, cloudy periods with some showers over most places, isolated thunderstorms with heavy falls mostly in the afternoon towards the evening. Outlook for Monday, cloudy periods with some showers and isolated thunderstorms over most places. Recapping our main stories, no human rights breaches in Alwalis deportation. Authorities test street food and Kava production declines. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we're asking, should more awareness be created on gender equality in Fiji? Visit our FBC website to answer. You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email, fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, or share it with us via our Facebook and Twitter accounts. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, stay safe. Madamanta.
Hi, I'm Ini from Raki Raki. I love Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.